2020 has been a lot, but through it all, Jewish Community Action has kept organizing, working to make the world a better place for everyone. And the JCA staff loves Hanukkah, because every day during Hanukkah we increase the light, and for us all year, that light is justice. And we increase the light during Hanukkah to honor the miracle of tenacity and resilience. The work that we do, it's a little like lighting Hanukkah candles. We light them all with the shamas. The shamas is a helper candle. It shares its light with all of the other candles and increases all of the light and never diminishes its own. That's how we feel about organizing with other communities for all of our collective liberation. So let's hear about the year from the JCA staff. Anyone need a shamas to start? Hey, Aaron.
Thanks, Karen. Here's the shamas. I'm going to give it a light. This year, one of the lights of my year was organizing all of the JCA leaders in Hennepin County around housing justice work, and I'm particularly so proud of the St. Louis Park housing team and our allies at Homeline, who, together with our JCA leaders, repealed the crime-free, drug-free multi-housing ordinance. The first time in the country that organizers have gotten a city to repeal an ordinance like this. It's a huge win, and we're so proud of it. And it's just such a light of the year. And so with that, I'm going to hand the shamas off to Jamie.
Thanks so much, Aaron. One of the bright spots of my year was working with JCA member leaders and our coalition partners at the Housing Equity Now St. Paul Coalition to pass the Safe Housing St. Paul Tenant Protections Ordinance. The ordinance features landmark just cause protections for renters, 90-day advance notice of sale, a limit on security deposits, fairer tenant screening guidelines, and a multilingual information packet regarding tenant rights and responsibilities. We're really excited to see it go into effect in March. Down to you, Dave.
As our state and world went into lockdown as the threat of the coronavirus became clear, we closed our office and moved to working remotely, holding meetings and gatherings like our annual Freedom Seder on Zoom. This protected our staff and members, and also tended to lead to a more relaxed attitude to workplace attire and grooming. After George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police on May 25th and the uprising began, we shifted our workloads again so that we could participate in protests with our members, join in neighborhood defense around arson and against white supremacists intent on violence, and so that we could direct our members to support mutual aid efforts with partners like El Colegio School and the Little Earth Reservation.
You know, when I graduated with my degree in history and archaeology, I thought, I'm going to be Indiana Jones. Except there were no jobs in academia, and there weren't any Nazis to fight. Unfortunately, one of those have changed. But fortunately, JCA has a Combating Anti-Semitism and White Nationalism program. We provided over a dozen house parties and workplace trainings this year, and we were part of the Communities Combating Hate Coalition with 16 other organizations around the state, and we brought a bill to close the reporting loopholes in our hate crimes laws. Unfortunately, it didn't pass, but next year we're bringing an even better version.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm really excited to talk about JCA's GOTV work this past summer and fall. With your help and with partner organizations like NADC and Minnesota Voice, we were able to help folks register and make plans to vote. We did this at 11 different affordable housing complexes in the Twin Cities, as well as 3 food shelves. We were also able to do numerous digital efforts like phone and text banks. And I'm proud to report that with your help, we were able to contact over 14,000 potential voters in Minnesota. I look forward to bringing the same passion and energy into JCA's work in 2021.
Chag Sameach. I am Lauren Muscoflet, and I am wishing you a happy almost Hanukkah. And I wanted to tell you about a couple things going on that I'm working on. The first one is our first ever virtual Tzedek Institute, and we're doing it with all JCA staff. We have a bunch of new staff, and it's really exciting. We're going to be opening it up to the community starting in January, so stay tuned for more information about that. And then also save the date for March 14th, 2021 for our first ever virtual Jewish Community Action Freedom Seder. It's going to be great. We're going to have stories just like we always do. It's just going to be on a screen instead of in person. So we look forward to seeing you there. And Chag Sameach.
Thank you, Lauren. We will be having conversations about community safety, policing, and racial justice within the Jewish community. We cannot talk about policing and community safety without talking about anti-Blackness and racial justice. We want to build on the momentum from the summer and work with our community to reimagine what community safety can look like. The vision we have of community safety is a holistic approach. When we are discussing reimagining community safety, we're not just speaking of physical safety, but a vision that includes emotional and spiritual as well as mental.
Thanks, Enzi. I am honored to have joined JCA this year and to be building on the past work of the Decriminalizing Communities campaign. An important facet of this work since the pandemic has been rallying together with our coalition partners around the national call to free them all. Together, we have mobilized to get people released from jail, prison, and detention in response to the current public health crisis around COVID-19. I light these candles in hope that we will see the action and urgency that we're demanding of our elected officials in order to protect members of our community who are detained and incarcerated from the dangers of this pandemic.
Thanks, Sarah. In the lead up to this year's election, JCA members organized and mobilized to defend democracy by forming neighborhood groups as part of our Action Haverah network. This year, JCA members showed up for justice. And in 2021, let's keep it going. Happy Hanukkah.